Now, I've been reading up on Runecairn for the past week or so, and I'm still not quite sure I'm getting it. But anyway, we're going to give it a go. All of these books are combined into a book called Runecairn Wardensaga. So you can get all these three things in one volume. So that's the core rules, the advanced rules, where all the solo stuff is, and this pre-written adventure Beneath the Broken Sword, pre-written dungeon. So we're going to give those a go. But as I say, you can buy these separately or all together in one volume called the Wardensaga. Now, it's easier to get that in the States than it is here in physical form, so I got the separate books. And I've also got these character sheets because somebody complained about solo role-playing games never having character sheets or something weird. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create our character. We have 4 basic classes to choose from, but there are 2 extra in the advanced rules. But we'll just deal with the first 4. This business card came with it, and it has some details about the sorry about the focusing. The different classes: warrior, scout, seer and skald, and gives you all the little bits of information on, and there we go. So we're going to create our character. So this game is designed to be a bit like Dark Souls and influenced by sort of Norse mythology as well. So we have a nice little summary on the back of this little business card of the character creation. So we choose a name, or we can create a name on a random table. So let's have a look. These are a percentile chart, so 10's first, 0 and 6. That is, we are Ari. That's a good name. Okay, now we're going to roll our stats. So that's 3d6 in order. Strength is 9, 12. That's good. And Dex 8. Not so good. Wits 13. And Spirit 10. Okay, and we have some other stats here. We roll d6 for our vigour, 6, that's great, and d6 for our vitality, 6, wow, that's awesome. Now for our resilience, we add our vigour and vitality, so we've got 12 resilience. Those are our hit points, and our vigour is reduced each time we die. So yeah, that's not so good. So now what is our next step? We choose our starting class. And you know what? I think I'm going to go against type, because our wits are good. I think we're going to be a seer. In another life, you might have been a wise woman, an augur, a trickster, or a conjurer. The only things you needed were your wits and a hunger for knowledge. You sought to delve the mysteries of the realms and pluck forth the secrets within. You stayed in the shadows, called on for your counsel and power, mistrusted by some, feared by others, and respected by all. You were never much for combat, preferring to work your cunning to rain destruction or mischief on your foes from a safe distance. The gods are dead, but their secrets are still waiting under ash and weald. You've seen your future, and it's filled with endless possibilities. So we start with a use staff, which does d4 damage, and that is our key item. So that defines us, sort of. So that's our thing. We have a rune stone, which is a sort of spell. Stout linen, so no defense from that. It's not really armour, but I'll put it in the armour section. and a bleached jawbone, just in case. Okay, now then, skills, Greystone, cast a magical stone as if from a sling for d4 damage. That's our skill, is it? Okay, barrier, cast a barrier spell, slow, so we've got these spells, have we, as skills, and I don't know how you say that. Propel a spear of pure energy. Strike your foe with the spear for d10 damage, 60 feet range. Now when it says fatigue, when you use that skill or spell, you write, or you take a note of fatigue in your inventory, and if your inventory fills with items and fatigue, then you're in a world of trouble. We also have Clubber, which we use with our staff. Smash the enemy's head with damage advantage. So that means we would roll the damage die twice. So we would get a 2, or we get a 3. Okay, we go with the 3. So that's not bad. That's some interesting little skills there. We've got 7 free slots in our equipment from with just having to deal with this. So with that same key item, we use our key item, the use staff, to cast that. As well as casting the barrier spell with our key item as well. So we need to keep hold of our use staff. So as we have 1 runestone, we're going to take the see the spear spell on that, because the seer reads their spells from a runestone and uses their staff as well to cast the spell. And now we arrive here. We begin our adventure. In a long-forgotten age, a raging war shattered and devastated the worlds of gods and men. Now green life blooms amidst the ruins of the lost worlds. Wondrous and terrible beings roam the 9 realms. Civilization stumbles forward, fresh and reaching. Fate weaves the skein anew, but there are loose threads, lost long ago in the wars, with no place in the tapestry. These threads must seek the fire within and weave their own path. You wake in an echoing cave lit by a waning bonfire, with little memory of who you are or how you arrived here. You wear your armour, but carry no weapons or items. As you venture further into the cave and find your scattered equipment, you start to regain fragments of lost memory. Our goal is to navigate the Cave of Echoes, retrieve our weapons and items, acquire our mead flask, and overcome the stone demon to escape further into the 9 realms. So that's what we're going to do. We arrive, or we wake up rather, in the light of this bonfire, and which is flickering, as you can see. And okay, one of the crossroads of the 9 realms is this Cave of Echoes. It is a knot in the skein of fate. Time flows differently, and magic bleeds from the other planes. Because of this, omens are triggered in a new way in this cave. In addition to when an adventurer's resilience is reduced to exactly 0, roll d6 when the adventure enters a new room. A 6 triggers an omen. Consult the new omens table found on the rear inside cover. Okay. Embers from a waning bonfire crackle and drift around the echoing cave, flickering on the jagged walls, damp with condensation. You slowly awake with no memory of who you are or how you got here. Okay, now we have our special solo rules to work with, and I've printed those out. So we have an oracle here, a general oracle of good things and bad things and awkward things, and we have this well, sort of a fate die really, and this is a more in-depth oracle when we need some kind of direction. So we have woken in this cave at the very end of the dungeon there. That's the bonfire, and there is a passage ahead of us. Okay, warmth of the waning bonfire fills the area. Light from the fire dances on a broken sword leaning against the cave wall. Smoke trails towards the opening to the east, masking the damp scent of the cave. Moss and lichen line the rough walls, growing with abandon. The waning bonfire crickles and flickers and crackles, but the flame never goes out. Charred and blackened spear driven into the stone floor at the centre of the flames. Rather than wood, bones burn in the fire-bleached skulls and femurs. Bones burn in the fire, bleached skulls and femurs. The broken sword is rusty and dented. Iron blade snapped near the hilt. Nearly dull, but better than nothing. D3 damage. No skills attached to the item. Okay, we could head to the... We could head north to the winding corridor. Oh, okay, the exit is to the east, with a gradual incline, intermittent sound of metal scraping on stone. We will make our way to the east. Two ragged, emaciated forms stagger languidly from one side of the cave to the other, occasionally raising a withered arm to strike the jagged wall with a ruined sword hilt. They see you, but their eyes are empty voids. The ragged forms look like men, but their movement is empty and listless, skin dried and worn like faded leather. Sharp sound of their hilts as they strike the stone walls. The corridor narrows and winds to the north, leading to a set of stone double doors. Now, this may sound a bit like a choose your own adventure, but it's not quite. It's meant to be run ordinarily with one GM and one player, but you know, we're doing it solo, and it's sort of the rules in the advanced little booklet sort of recommend running this adventure solo as well. So, as we head to the north, the ragged forms are shades but do not react if provoked or attacked. They die silently with no fight. So as these strange figures stagger past us, they sort of fade away into nothing, and we head for the double doors. Hewn from the cave walls to enormous handles, doors open easily, revealing an enormous chamber filled with stalactites and stalagmites. So we now enter this chamber. So we're in trouble now. Sharp wind shrieks through the vast chamber as you enter. Craggy stalactites reach from the sunken ceiling, and gnarled stalagmites collect green water in shallow pools. At the opposite end of the chamber, a set of towering carved doors. A smashed crater in the centre, strewn with broken chunks of stone. An obscure ledge visible behind jagged stone outcropping. And heavy piercing stalactites hang from the ceiling, precarious and barbed. The smashed crater, radiating cracks within deep indentation filled with broken stalagmites and shattered yellowed bones. Obscured ledge far above the floor, wind howls from an unseen alcove, hulking shadow occasionally visible moving. So to the north there is the carved doors are locked. Sorry for the flickering. A set of double doors, intricate raven reliefs on both faded by time and wind. Two round keyholes the size of a fist at the centre of each door, so we'll be able to see that. Cold wind whistles through the keyholes, and it says that 2 keys are required. Okay, so we could go back south, which would lead us back to the bonfire, or west. So there is a way west. Cramped tunnel. Okay, I guess that's the way we're going. Just large enough to fit through. Dim flickering light reveals a path. Above the room, the stone demon emerges from Demon's Ledge and jumps down into the smashed crater. Just like that. You hear the thundering sound of an avalanche. A massive grey blur crashes down into the chamber in front of you, revealing a hulking humanoid shape, rocky and pitted flesh, misshapen and deformed. A large bronze key hangs from its neck. The demon raises an enormous stone club and advances. We are going to run away because we have a rusty old sword. So yes, we will do that. If they run, the demon smashes the stone above the tunnel, collapsing it and blocking entry to the jagged chamber. Okay, where's the oh, right. So this is the jagged chamber. Blocking entry. I don't understand that because we're in... I'm guessing that means that will block off when we run. I think that's what it means. So that's what we're going to do because we cannot hope to defeat this creature. Yes, so we will run into the west, slightly west passage. And here in this room it shows on the map that there is another bonfire. So the soft flickering light of a bonfire dances on the smooth stone walls of the hushed corridor. Warm and comforting bonfire burns, charred bones fueling the flame. Wolfskin wrap rests on a rectangular flat stone at the centre of the corridor. The corridor continues north. Comforting bonfire. Resting here for a few moments heals any injuries and rejuvenates the spirit. We've not been asked to take any skill checks as such, so I'm assuming that we ran past the demon and that was that. The wolfskin wrapped in the wolfskin is a sacrificial bundle and the main weapons of the adventurer. Upon seeing them, our U-staff in our case, memories of a previous life flood back, including who they were and what fate befell them. The adventurer regains the ability to use weapon and item skills. So there is an exit to the north, and that's all because the entrance back to the jagged chamber where the demon was has collapsed. That's how I interpret that. So we will collect up our items and head north. So the murky pool, the narrow corridor opens to a broad cavern and an annoying flickering camera. I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to do something about this. The narrow corridor opens to a broad cavern with a high curved domed ceiling covered in mushrooms and lichen. At the centre of the cavern lies a murky pool. A dusty skeleton sits against the eastern wall. There is a pungent smell of wet rot and decay, heavy moisture in the air. Dripping sound as condensation trickles into the murky pool. A crumbling skeleton slouches against the rough wall, skull lolling with one leg outstretched. There is a jagged stone door to the north. So if I look at this map, the skeleton is sort of over here. So we're going to need to head north, and as we approach the get further into the room, the skeleton will sort of rise up and go for us. Okay, now we're going to the pool. Its depth is impossible to gauge. Its sides are slick with green algae. Now there's going to be another skeleton turning up very shortly, but first of all let us begin the fight. We've got our weapons after all. So I'm going to cast my spear spell using 1 fatigue, and that will do 10 damage to that guy. Well, d10 damage, 5, so its resilience is reduced quite a bit because they aren't wearing any armour. As he comes in to attack me, I'm going to check my wits to see if I notice that guy, and if I don't, then he will get damage advantage. That's what makes sense, I think. I fail, he will get damage advantage. So this guy, first of all, attacks. He rolls a 5. I'm going to use my barrier spell, sorry, which I do. So I stop his damage. This guy attacks with damage advantage. He rolls twice, takes the highest. That's a 5. Oh boy. I'm going to try and... oh gosh. 5, you say? I'm going to try the that spell again, which I do. I'm now spelled out, honestly. Okay, I took a beating there. I'll continue attacking this guy. I'll just hit him with my staff because I don't want to. No, I will use another spell. I've got 4 more slots, I think. So I'll blast him with my spear spell for 5 damage. 1, 2, 3. So his strength is 10. So he's taken 2 damage, and he needs to roll a strength check to avoid dying. So his strength is now 8, I think. Let me just check and make sure. Saves. It's in here somewhere. Right. Once a target reaches 0 resilience, any additional damage reduces strength directly and triggers a critical damage save. The target must roll under strength to avoid critical damage. Any target that fails dies. So its strength is now currently 8. Oops. And he absolutely fails. That was comforting. Now this guy attacks me again, or attacks are simultaneous, so does he still get to hit me for 5? I roll my wits and cast my barrier spell and succeed. I'm blasting through my resilience, or my fatigue. Now he's destroyed. This one attacks, and with 2 I will let him have a 2. I won't use up more fatigue just yet. Okay, I'm just going to whack him with my staff. 4. I'm liking that. So his resilience is reduced by 4. He retaliates with a 3. I'm going to save my fatigue and let that go. Right. Now he's on 4, so it might be worth another blast of fatigue. Oh. Yeah, okay, I will. I blast him with my shield spell, which rolled a 4. He's down to 0. He does get to attack me for 1. I'll let him have that 1 at the moment. And I will attack him again with my spear. And now he's reduced to 9 strength. He has to roll. Oh, he doesn't. He is destroyed, thank goodness. That was stressful. Now there is a glowing soul remnant at the bottom of the murky pool, so I will go in and grab that. Now around the next area of the dungeon, the irregular rocky ground slants upward, and the corridor curves, revealing a long flat tunnel. There is a handful of broken arrows that litter the ground at a bend in the cave. A ragged bowman waits at the end, holding a bow with a nocked arrow. There is a cramped alcove halfway down the corridor, and there is a southeast path at the end of the corridor. Now the ragged bowman is dressed in tattered clothing, dim aggression in its eyes, spots the adventurer and less hidden, similar to the previous shades but more aggressive. The cramped alcove offers protection from the archer's arrows. Okay. Right. We are quite away from this guy, so he is possibly fine. Okay, not that far. I'm going to test Dex to see if we can get into this alcove. Our Dex is not great. So, oops, sorry. We do not. So as we run for it, he's able to get a shot at us with his D3 arrow. That is 2. I'll try to use my Dex again to avoid the hit. Or I could just use my barrier spell. I think I will. Wits. Oh, that's awful. So yeah, I'll give him. Oh God, I'll give him damage advantage because I failed my roll so badly. Oh goodness. 3. So we get to the alcove, but we have been shot. Now, in the alcove, it offers protection from the archer's arrows. Resting against the rear wall is another wolfskin wrap. We're having a look at that. Cracks crisscross the stone wall behind the wrap. Well, removing the wolfskin causes a loose stone to fall and clatter to the ground. Pushing the stone aside reveals a secret room. Okay. Wrapped inside are the adventurer's secondary items, everything else that they were missing. Retrieving the items results in another flood of memories. I'm not sure if we were able to use our runestones, but yeah, we've already been taking quite a beating, so it's very vague about, you know, I don't know. Oh, I guess we shouldn't, but yeah, I missed it, sorry. So, yeah, our secondary items. Retrieving the items results in another flood of memories, including what the adventurer seeks in the lush new world. And to be honest, as a seer, I mean, I've got a D4 staff. I mean, for goodness sake, I need something more than that to survive. So, yes, we're going to go into this secret chamber and have a look. So we will head south because it's fairly safe, maybe. The broken stones clatter as you enter the chamber. The ceiling is low and the air old and stale. Sitting on the stone floor in front of you is a battered old chest. An oak weathered chest covered in 2 large gouges and banded in rusted iron. Weathered chest, damage looks to be from an axe. Unlocked. We will have a look inside. Opens easily and reveals a relic, the armband of Filgia. The armband of Filgia has 3 charges. Hammered bronze armband etched with animal likenesses summons an animal spirit that leads you to fate or fortune. Recharge by burying a spiced parcel of meat with a coin under a fallen tree. Okay, armband of Filgia. We'll have that. Armband of Filgia. 3 charges. We can summon an animal. Okay. I hoped for more things to stop me from dying from being hit by idiot with a bow, but there you go. Okay, I'm going to leap out. I'm going to let him have it with the last of my spare fatigue. Oh, for goodness sake. That is awful. So, he has got 3 resilience. Well, it's still rubbish. So he's down to 2. Yeah, the shades are quite weak then. Hollow dead, devoid of humanity, a shadow of the person that was. Drawn to the living, gather in hordes. Yeah. That was rubbish. So he's going to shoot me again, unfortunately. Oh, you swine. I'm down to 1 resilience. I'm going to rush over and clobber him. 4. Deal with that. Your strength is down to 8. Please roll a strength save. In other words, don't. So he's dead. Because I'm fed up with him. Right. We've got past him. And we are barely hanging on. Aha. In the next room, as we start heading southeast and south, Ithan's grotto? The cramped path opens to reveal a lush grotto exposed to the sky. Radiant beams of sunlight bathe the cavern in golden glow. A sprawling tree flourishes at the centre, brilliant red apples dotted amongst the green. A hooded woman tends to the tree, holding a wooden basket. Fresh breeze caresses exposed skin. The smell of apple and honey fills the senses. Vast apple tree reaches up to the clear blue sky. Hooded woman harvests apples from the tree, placing them in her basket. Daylight returns to shadow in the southern passage. Apple tree, ancient and gnarled, covered in countless red apples, grows far above the cave's stone walls. Hooded woman, stooped, small and frail, simple white cloak, hood drawn around her head. She turns and greets us. Soft-spoken, dialect, antiquated, piercing eyes. Simple orchard tender, has been tending trees like this for as long as she can remember. The apples heal and rejuvenate. She brews them into apple mead that refreshes the spirit. To leave the cave, the demon of stone must be overcome. She gives the adventurer a leather belt and mead flask, a horn filled with apple mead. When she presents the flask, the tree and the hooded woman disappear from the grotto, leaving only beams of sunlight and the faint scent of apples. Starts with 2 sips in the mead flask. Replenishes when resting at the bonfire. Each sip restores 10 resilience and clears 2 points of fatigue. That sounds great. So we desperately need some of that. We are back up to 11 resilience because we're going to have a sip. And we can clear 2 points of fatigue. So oops. So we only have 4 points of fatigue right now. So we can use 3. They haven't disappeared. And now we have our mead flask, which makes our seer super powerful. Yeah. So for once we met someone who wasn't trying to kill us, which was a nice change. Now the southern passage is heavily shadowed path. It is a heavily shadowed path leading up over jagged stone. So the arched tunnel. The rocky terrain forms a crude natural staircase obscured in heavy shadow. The path climbs further up, leading to a shallow arch. Soft whistling sound coming from somewhere far under the stone. A crumpled form in a heap at the peak of the arch. A smooth incline at the end of the tunnel. Broken and shattered bones at the base of the incline. A crumpled form wearing tattered clothing, lifeless and curled up around a spear. Oops, no, that's the yes, one of the quest givers. Okay, the broken and shattered bones are crushed to powder from some massive objects scattered and strewn down the path. So to the south, yeah, is the smooth incline. Okay. Oh dear, I have a bad feeling about this. So let's so if we look at spoilers, we're here. It's like a narrow passage, and this crumbled form is here, and there's somebody else down here, and they have a large stone. So if we move away or disturb the shade, so yeah, it's going to activate whatever happens. Okay. Oh, we're suspicious of it, so we're going to hit it. He has 3 resilience. We hit it, excuse me, for 4. So its strength is reduced by 1 because we've done the resilience. Then we start working on the strength. Its strength is 9. Oops, 12. Oopsies. It's dead. We smash it with our staff. However, we need to then make a dex save as this boulder comes steaming towards us. I had a feeling we'd make it. So we dodge out of the way and we don't get d8 damage. And we are going to use a fatigue to fire off our spear, our magical spear. 6, so his 3 fatigue are gone, and he's taken 3 strength damage, so his strength is now 7. So try to roll more than that. That's nice. So we hit him with our magic spear, and he is blasted to pieces. Flat, broad room littered with piles of broken and smashed bones, shattered weaponry and crushed armour. Massive cracks litter the stone ground and jagged walls as if smashed by something immense. Crashing echoes of something huge moving round nearby. Compacted stone ground covered in a dense layer of fine dust. On the western side, the ground leads to a rocky ledge overlooking a wide open area. A heavy iron key hangs from a hook on the southern wall. Fine dust, stalactites hang overhead, but the only remaining stalagmites are on the edges. All others have been crushed to powder. Rocky ledge overlooks the jagged chamber and the stone demon below. The crashing sound is the demon pacing the cavern. Heavy iron key, explorer's key, unlocks the second lock in the carved doors. Okay. We will grab the big key. Yeah. Iron key. Let's write that on our sheet. Okay, now we need to head down and confront this demon. I dread to think how tough it is. So what we can do is we can do a surprise attack. So I think we're just going to zap it with our See the Spear, which may be mispronounced. So let's find out what this demon's stats are. It has 9 resilience, 2 defense and 13 strength. So I need to remember the 2 defense because I will forget that kind of thing. So it will take 2 off our damage, so I'm going to blast it. 8, so it takes 6 damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That did really quite well. Okay, but I take 1 fatigue for that, for casting that spell. Now it will leap up and attack me. And it attacks with something awful, no doubt. It's got 3 different attacks. It could do a club, a ground slam, or a grab. I guess we'll roll the d3 to find out what it does. It does a grab. So I need to make a dex save to avoid losing my next turn. My dex is 8. And I roll 3, so I do. Save to avoid losing next turn and d6 damage from stone grip. So I think I don't take the damage from the stone grip either. So there. Now I'm going to hit it with my staff, doing 2 damage. Not great, but what attack does it do now? It does the grab again, so I need to roll my dex. Oh yeah. So right. I think from reading the rules I don't take the damage. Oh, it's vague. It is vague. Ah well, vague is as vague does. So I'm going to smack it with my staff again. That's a 4. Its strength is reduced by 3 and it must make a critical strike save. Perhaps I should have taken the damage, I'm not sure. It's a bit vague because if I'm avoiding getting grabbed, am I also avoiding getting damaged? I don't know. Right, it needs to make a 10 or less, and it does, the swine. So okay, what does it do now? It does a 2, which is a ground slam. That's d8 damage. Oh no. 7 damage. Can I... I can't use any more fatigue. I've probably used too much as it is. I'm at my maximum. I can't really use any more. So I will take that 7 damage. And I shall whack him with my spear again. Staff. Okay, that is 4 more damage. 4 more strength damage. So his strength is reduced by 7. So he has to roll a 6 or less. You absolute swine! Oh, I'm in so much trouble. Oh, you're kidding me. You're absolutely kidding me. He will not die. So what attack does he do? 2. He does d8 damage again. I need to take my mead. I'm going to take my mead because I've got some left. We go back up to full resilience. I've used up all my mead. We get 2 fatigue back. Yeah, did I roll a 5? I probably did. I think I did. So I'm reduced to 7. And now I'm going to hit him again with my staff, doing 4 more damage. 2, 3, 4. So how much is that total? That's 11. So he's down to 2. Don't you dare. Okay. We finally killed the stone demon and we got the key. So the demon crumbles to dust when defeated, granting 1 soul and dropping the Wanderer's key. Okay. So we can open the locked doors, but we are going to go back to the original bonfire and rest, because the demon will not respawn, and we can just go back to the doors. And so after resting at the bonfire, we recover our resilience and we clear all our fatigue, and we use these 2 keys in this door, which opens violent, piercing wind shrieks through the narrow stone channel, cold tearing at your skin and chilling your breath. Ice gathers on the stone walls and the path is perilous. The wind carries a foul stench and drowns out most sound. A frozen stream crosses the ground, water running from deeper inside the cave. Mist and fog gathers near the end, obscuring the path. So there is an exit to the east as this path follows around. The mist and fog is stationary even though there is a violent wind, and daylight is just visible in the distance. Let us head where this is going. Pushing through the fog, you find a plateau exposed to the sky. An enormous raven is perched on a broad ash stump, black eyes staring. Between you and the raven is a dead thing, clad in broken and rusted armour, wielding a bearded axe, eyes glowing with red malevolence. Stinging wind, even stronger, lashing exposed skin and carrying a putrid stench. Death blue, dead warrior awaits, red eyes scanning. The enormous raven shuffles on its perch, watching. So we've got this dead warrior here and a raven. Okay. Not even in Meeples of Might or Meeples of Menace do we have a raven, but never mind. Okay, so we're here, the evil dead warrior is there and the raven is there. So the enormous raven is 10 feet tall, pitch black feathers, enormous grasping talons, cocks its head at the adventurer. Exposed plateau. The cave is revealed to be flying hundreds of feet above the ground, forests and mountains visible through cold mist. The Draugr, however you pronounce that, the dead warrior is a Draugr. Its lips peel back in a smile when it sees the adventurer, speaks with a cold guttural voice full of hatred and bile, fought against the living in the war that was, demands the adventurer forfeit the soul they earned from overcoming the demon, or forfeit 1 point of vigour, attacks if refused. The freezing wind stops once the Draugr is defeated or placated, replaced by brilliant sunshine. So the Draugr has 8 resilience after I fought for my soul, which I got from the Stone Demon. I'm not willing to give it up. So this death blue corpse is driven by hatred for the living, eyes burned with red malice, emits a reeking stench that mocks their presence. At close range, strength save to avoid losing a turn to vomit. Okay. We need to defeat this guy. I'm going to use my special spell. My spear shooty magic spell. Because I'm loving that. Right. Badoosh! Oh, you're kidding me. That's rubbish. Yeah. So the Draugr comes in. No idea how you pronounce that. And hits with a spear or axe. They both do d6. So it rolls this and does 5. I'm going to roll my wits to use my barrier spell, and I fail. So I lose my fatigue and I lose 5 resilience. Oh boy. This is not going well. I'm going to use my spear spell again. 2. Oh, come on. I take another fatigue for that. And it attacks me with its spear or whatever. 5. Oh no. I'm going to try and roll my wits again. Oops. Well, that'll do. To protect me from that, but I take another fatigue for it. Oh, my spell's rubbish. Doing really badly. I'll give it one last go with a spear, magic spear spell. That's 6 damage. It takes 1 strength damage. I take another fatigue for casting that spell. It needs to roll. Its strength is now 10. It does it. It survives. So it attacks me with... You swine. It could have been a 3. I'm out of fatigue. I'm gonna have to... Mind you, I have got my... I rested the bonfire, so I've got my mead back. So I will take that 6, go down to 1, take my mead, go back up to 11, lose 2 fatigue. Okay, and blast it with my spell again, my spear spell. 3, oh, for the love of fudge. Okay, I hope I'm playing this vaguely right. So it now needs to roll 11, take away 8 or less, and it does not. I defeat the Draugr, however you pronounce it, and the raven bows its head when the adventurer approaches, beckons to the air with its wing, in essence asking if they are ready to journey to the land beyond. The raven crouches and springs up off the tree stump, taking to the air with a gust from its wings. Circling around, it hovers for a moment before grasping you firmly in wicked talons. You fly off into the unknown sky, onward into the new world below. The adventurer successfully escaped the Cave of Echoes. Well. So if I made a mistake with the Stone Demon's grab attack, I'm sorry about that, but I couldn't work out whether I avoided the missing a turn and the damage, or just missing a turn. I'm not sure. But the advanced rules contain the solo stuff, as well as the 2 extra classes and some more equipment. And it tells you about journaling and using the favour or sorrow sort of simple oracle, or the more elaborate oracle here, where you, which I didn't use, In the normal oracle, you just roll for favour with complication. So in the more elaborate oracle, you roll for your focus, which was stagger. You roll for the emotion, which is forlorn, stagger, forlorn. Then you will roll a d20 on the final table, stagger, forlorn, magic. Stagger, forlorn, magic. So you take those three words and you interpret them how you see fit, basically. And there is also a delve generator, so you can create a cave like that, or a cairn, an outpost, a ruin, a village, a cave, a stronghold, and it tells you how to run those, and the plots you can come up with using these charts, and all these encounters are the things you can do, and as you go through trying to achieve your objective, and yeah, do that. So Runecairn, it's an interesting one, and I look forward to playing it more.